Welcome back to another episode of the Pokedex Binder series, a series where I'm collecting one of every Pokemon in the Pokedex. And today we have some Silver Tempest, and we also have some Lost Origin as well, which is actually a pack set that I've not yet opened. As always, we're going to see which ones are new additions to the Pokedex Binder. So let's quickly get these out of their packaging. There we go, so they're unpackaged, ready to go, and of course we've got the two promos. Now it's worth noting at this point what the current Pokedex total is. You'll be able to see it on screen now. And as always, let's start off with the promos and get them into the binder and see if they're new additions or upgrades. Regigigas goes in at 486 as a new addition, and then going in just below that is Manaphy at 490 equally as a new addition. Okay, so I think I'm going to start off with all of the Silver Tempest, and then we'll make our way into the Lost Origin content, because I feel like that's a little bit more exciting for me, the Lost Origin stuff, because I've never opened it before. Of course, in Lost Origin, you've got the Giratina in there, and that's the big chase card. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and rip it because you've already seen it, so let's just take a look. Beldum. Baltoy. Oh, awesome. So this is worth noting at this point, this is perfect timing. This is a Yukimori illustration, and they're like these 3D clay doll sort of, well, clay and sort of designs to the cards. I'm actually going to start a collection of all of their artwork. So that's going to go into a binder where I'm going to start collecting just that artwork. So that's really cool. We've got the Regenerative Energy, which is a reverse. We've got the Melodic Rare, which is actually nothing, but that is absolutely beautiful artwork. And then we've got the Energy, and of course I didn't do the card trick, so we've got Gallade, Candice, Benheim, and then the code card. So sadly, the Melodic doesn't make it in, even though this artwork is really cool. We already have the full art that we packed in a previous episode. So this then just goes into the stack of my bulk, really, which is organized now based off of the card series. So of course this will go in with the Silver Tempest bulk. Murkrow doesn't go in because we already have one. But moving away from that, Sunkern goes in just down here at 191 as a new addition. Now the Beldum we already have, but we have in the reverse hollow variation. So again, bulked in. Glalie will go in alongside its pre-evolution at 362. And then while I'm here towards this kind of page, the Yukimori, which I really want to get the whole set of these, won't go in, and I'm kind of glad it doesn't because we already have one in here. So this can immediately go into the binder with all of the cards from this artist. I do have some more scattered throughout the Pokedex binder, which I'll eventually hopefully be able to take out and put in alongside this. Fennekin is a dupe. And then the last one is Benheim, which I always mess up. This artist makes some absolutely stunning artwork. You can just about see their name there, Shinji Kanda. Now we already have one of these in here, so we're not going to end up putting it in, but I'll probably put it to one side so I can maybe make a series on this as well. Let's get this one open then, and let's try and do the card trick this time, Joel. How does that sound, eh? It's weird that they open that way, like I can see the cards immediately. Let's pull that out of the way. Oh yeah, code card if you want it. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the front. Let's start off with Fighting Energy. Wow, Lord, that's cool. Ninetales, Claydol, Zubat, Elgyem, Fungus, Sandygast, Hawlucha, Esper with the reverse hollow, and that is also a really cool artwork. Now this one is equally from another artist that I really like their kind of crochet work, and it's another one I debated also creating a second binder for, so we'll have to see how many we can find. And then we've got Victini. So we actually sort of carry on exactly where we left off from entering into the packs, because we were just sort of talking about this one previously. And then we've got the Elgyem going in at 605. I probably butchered that. Please don't hammer me in the comments. Zubat already has an entry, so this is going into the bulk. And then equally just above that, Ninetales also has a card already in here. So again, this one will go into the bulk. Claydol already has an entry, which is a rare. Wailord also has a entry already, so you know where this is going. We already have the Hawlucha, exactly the same card already. Fungus we equally already have a card in with the equal rarity. Now, the only exception here is Sandygast, because we already have a card in here, but as I've just sort of mentioned earlier, with the kind of crochet artwork, I want to go ahead and pull this one out. So we're gonna swap it out and slide in the one from today's. I just wanna try and start to sort of accumulate all of these and put them into order elsewhere, which then equally would go for the Esper reverse holo, but it doesn't have an entry. So this one's gonna have to go in for now, and then hopefully we can get it taken out later on. But that at least is a new entry to the Pokedex. And at 494, Victini will go in to end this pack. Not a lot of luck so far, but I'm pretty confident that a lot of these are all gonna be some nice additions. So let's get this last one open. Code card if you want it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hypno, that's cool. Lovely Vulpix, Drowsy as well, Growlithe, one of my favourite Pokemon of all time, Ariados, and behind that we get the Alolan Vulpix V. That's a really cool hit. So Vulpix we already have with the exact same card already in there, and of course the Alolan version won't go in this instance because they have the same Pokedex number. I want to make sure we stick with the original in that instance, but I definitely want to start collecting the sort of other additional regional forms, because this is just it's too much of a pretty sort of iteration of Vulpix to not be collected in some way. And then the Growlithe we already have in here, so again, this one equally is going to be a bit of bulk. We're not having too much luck at the minute. Drowsy, already got it. Hypno, already got it. Same goes for Relicanth. And then while we're here, this is what I was referring to. I already have a Starly in here, so hopefully we can upgrade this to a different one and get this one out of the Pokédex Binder into its own collection. Archin. Oh, we actually have the option of adding this one in. Finally, a new addition from this pack, 566. Rufflet's in at 627. Ariados is an empty space, so that's going in at 168. Excuse the glare, but if we look up and we look down, that is a column.
Bingo.
Right, let's get into some Lost Origin. I'm really looking forward to these. Just interested to see what's in this set, what kind of artworks there are. There's your code card. 1, 2, 3, 4. Apon, Clefairy, Slugma, Lickitung, that's awesome. And then behind that, we get the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. That is sick. Very cool card. And behind that, we get a Hisuian Electrode V. Oh, wow. We are absolutely killing it today with the forms that potentially I'm not counting. Now, I know that Hisuian Electrode definitely doesn't have a Pokedex entry for it, but I'm pretty sure that Hisuian Sneasler does. We'll have to take a look. But that is a really awesome first pack. Great luck on that. So Lickitung, we already have an entry for, and that's great news because my friend, he collects all the Lickitungs, and I don't think he has this one, so we will give this to him. Slugma we already have, and that is, I believe it's Ethans or Hops? Ethans, I believe, and that's from Heatwave Arena. Clefairy is in at 35. By the way, if you thought I was going to leave it with the paper sort of border showing too much, you're wrong. Apom in at 190, Spinarak at 167, and again if we look down and up, that's another column.
Bingo.
And then the Galarian Stunfisk is not going to go in because it doesn't have its own Pokedex entry. This is a complete different regional form. And likewise this Hisuian Sliggoo, that's equally not going to go in. However, the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, although it is a regional form, it does appear to have a Pokedex entry. So that is in at 903, and I'm actually really happy that that's going to go in. That's the first Radiant card to add to the collection as well, and it's just nice to have a bit of variety. However, if we look up and we look down, that's another column.
Bingo.
However, sadly, the Hisuian Electrode V does not go in. There's some absolutely lovely texture on here and sort of pattern within the holo, but it doesn't go in. So second binder. So second to last pack, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. This is an ongoing series. Every single episode, we're going to see what additions we can make to the Pokedex binder. So if you want to follow along for the journey, make sure you are subscribed. I know a huge percentage of the audience are not subscribed, and it would help me out a bunch, trying to, of course, get to 1,000 subscribers. Dark Energy, Viper. That artwork is very, very cool. Look at that. Damage Pump, a Bomber Snow, a Bomb again, Clefairy again, Slugma again, Lickitung again, Hisuian Growlithe. Can't work out whether or not I prefer Hisuian version or the regular version. And behind that we have a Bouffalant, and behind that we end up with the Barbacle. That is cool, and I really like how the sort of graphic and the holo is just bleeding out into the actual card. It's like a sort of, I don't know, sort of like liquid or gas. Very cool. So starting us off for pack number 5, these have all been packed in today's episode already. So these 4, they're not going to make it in. And of course, Hisuian Growlithe equally doesn't make it in for obvious reasons. And the Seviper, that is going to go in because it's an upgrade. So this is a uncommon, if it focuses for you, uncommon, and then this is already a common. So we're going to swap this one out and then slide this one in. The Bomber Snow is in at 460. The Barbaracle, I believe it is in at 689. And then we're going to be upgrading the Bouffalant to a rare version because this is a uncommon. So let's get that one slid in there as well as its paper entry. Last pack, come on. Where's that Giratina at? Code card 1, 2, 3, 4. Fighting Relicanth, Nuzleaf, Carbink, Rockruff. That's a cute sort of cute design. I nearly said animation, illustration. Litwick, and that is another Yukamori. That is amazing. By the way, if you're interested in me showing you that series as well as we go, more than happy to keep you updated on that. But that's excellent. That's another one checked off. Spinarak, Apom, Fantina, and behind that we end up with a Clefable, and that is it, a Clefable. Now it's really interesting that in some of these sets that the rares don't have any holo to them at all. They're just rares and that's it. Really kind of different to the current sets of cards anyway. Okay, so you might have also seen a little bit of a change in the camera. My camera's actually decided to break midway through this. Excellent. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what we can put in here. We've got Clefable in at 36. And then perfectly for the theme of this video, the Litwick, we already have a common in here, so this common can stay with me. Nuzleaf is going to go in at 274, and there is another example. We've got the C-Dot, which I would love to get out and then put in with the others, but we'll see what happens in time. Roselia goes in at 315, and if we take a look down and up, that's
Bingo.
Carbink's in at 703. And then while we're here, Relicanth, we've already seen this artwork already, and we know it's not going to go in. On the next page, we can see that Rockruff is not going to go in because we already have this awesome character rare. That is a beautiful card, so this one is not going to go in. And then to wrap it up, Spinarak and Apom, we've already seen these exact artworks in this episode already, so again, they're not going to go in. Okay, so we are done with today's episode. As always, I update the Dex app to see where we're at. I scan all the cards in using the actual camera scanner. It's so easy. And then we can get a new total of where we're at. So we end today's episode with a lovely 482 out of 1025. So from this episode, you'd have been able to see that we are getting to the point where some packs are just simply not making any additions or upgrades to the binder. It's totally part of the process. I'm actually enjoying that part now more than I was a few episodes ago, because we're just trying to do the challenge. We're just trying to see, and if anything now, the upgrades and the new additions are even nicer now, when we get them. Now the next episode is actually going to be me adding in a bunch of singles from SCD, which is a store I visited in Plymouth, as well as a bunch of singles from Whatnot. And who knows, by the magic of all the cards that I've got stacked up, maybe we'll end up at the midway point perfectly, who knows. And then maybe we can do a midway through the process, kind of look at the binder, see where we're at, and see what sort of cards we've already collected up until this point. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the journey as well. Don't just let it fall into your home screen. Subscribe so you are supporting the channel and the journey. And I'll see you in the next one.